Does each researcher play the same role every day, or do responsibilities rotate?
That's a good question. We put out a little video short kind of showing like what each person is doing on the boat. And so we have a boat driver, a drone pilot, a drone spotter, somebody monitoring the hydrophones, somebody deploying and retrieving the hydrophones, and somebody doing kind of the voiceover annotating the context of what's going on. Some of those things require very specific skills. So the drone pilot does not change from day to day.
Right.
That's, if you were there, you were the one flying the drone.
Right.
For the most part, I think people were kind of playing the same role.
And I think it worked best that way just because we started the day with everybody knowing what they were doing and how to do it. Especially in a concentrated field season like this, where you're potentially going out, 3 or 4 days in a row, and everybody's tired. It's best to go out knowing what you're going to do and having just done it the day before, so you know kind of what your responsibilities are and how to do them.
And you kind of get into a rhythm, right?
Yeah.
Because you're trying to land the drone and pull up the hydrophones and reposition the boat, and there's a lot of people crossing paths, but you kind of figure out the syncing of the human side of it,
Yeah.
who's doing what when, and stepping around who. And so I think there's a lot of benefit to keeping the same job day to day.
Yeah.
What was different about your process this year compared to last year, and what do you think could be improved for next year?
So, 2 things come to mind. One is and this is maybe a little boring, we use different setups for actually holding the hydrophones in place. Last year we had these big metal poles with the cable running through them and these little, little holders. And this year we used actually fishing rods and fishing rod holders because it turns out that this is how to deploy a line from a boat is a solved problem. The other thing that changed is we fixed our engine. Because it's a boat, and boats always have issues, was having an issue where its starboard engine wouldn't want to restart after you shut it down. We got that fixed, and this year we were able to actually shut it down. So much clearer, quieter hydrophone recordings this year than last year.
Definitely reduced a constant source of noise to help localize calls a little bit easier with this season's data. You said a lot of calls in last year's data set located to the starboard engine.
Yeah, it looked like there were a lot of whales right behind us and to the right.
The other thing we are kind of constantly tweaking is just where the equipment is placed on the boat and how it's held down, and how do we keep it in place while we're being, underway and when we're stopped, and all those kinds of things. Yeah. In terms of next year, you're practically redesigning the hydrophone deployment system before we even tried the fishing rod system.
I am constantly, every time we come up with a new way to do something, my mind, as soon as that's solved, my brain wants to figure out the next way to do it. We have all these thoughts about a towed array or a separate array and all these things that we probably won't end up doing, but I strongly suspect our array is going to look slightly different each year.
But the good news was that because everything worked last year, we didn't really have to make any major changes this year, and I don't think we have anything major planned for the future. The basic system is working.
Yeah. What have been the biggest challenges to this field work? Well, I think we just went over a few of them. I think for me, kind of learning how to get the boat in the right position for one of these. So because we're doing acoustic recordings and because we kind of want to hear the whales clearly, we want to position, we don't want to position directly in front of the whales, but we do want to position ahead of them. So kind of ahead and off to the side is kind of our ideal location. So they are pointed at us and they pass by us and they keep going and then we reposition. And just figuring out how to do that, at what point to say we're done with this set, we're pulling up, we're moving ahead.
It's very different than the way the boat is operating for any other type of research, right? Like if we're doing behavioral observations or you're flying the drone, we can be paralleling at slow speeds. Yeah. If we're just dropping a hydrophone, we can be further away for longer and just be stopped. But this was kind of a hybrid of those, and so it took a little figuring out. Yeah, just predicting where the whales are going to go and then timing it right with our deployments. I think, again, talking about those growing pains, this season we got really, really quick at our deployments. We could go from motoring to stopping to being fully deployed, I think, in under a minute by the end there. But yeah, that has been a challenge that I think we've been overcoming. I think some of the other challenges are maybe more obvious ones, like weather is certainly a restricting factor. We can't fly the drone in the rain, or if it's too windy. And it is November, so that's a factor. And then we talked about it a bit last year that the whales aren't always vocal. So just getting all the factors to line up of the equipment running smoothly, the whales vocalizing but not vocalizing too much, and the weather being consistent. Just it takes a bit for all those factors to align. It's not an everyday thing.
Yeah.
Do you debrief after every day on the water? What happens when your field day is over?
So the field day ends. We usually get a coffee because we're usually freezing and tired.
And food.
And food.
And the first order of business when we get back is plug everything in for charging. There's quite the charging station.
Yeah.
And I took a photo of it at one point, and I noticed there wasn't a single camera battery there. It's all the drone
batteries,
recorder, the different measurement units.
Yeah, it's a lot of crap. So everything...
also desalting everything.
Yes.
If we take any splash, we kind of, first order of business is wiping everything down.
The hydrophones get wiped down so that they're not just sitting with salt water on them and corroding.
I don't think we don't really do like an official debrief.
No.
But there's definitely, as soon as we're warm and everything's charging, we go straight to like the good stuff from the day. Like we want to see the video or hear the recording where something cool happened.
So we start, I will typically start downloading the drone footage, and depending on the day, that can take a while. We'll start downloading the hydrophone recordings, any photos that were taken get downloaded. And then I'm also exporting all of that data from those measurement units, from the IMU, from the GPS.
And we're kind of naming files and keeping a record of all the file names and what's what, so that everything can be synced later. So definitely, the process doesn't end when the boat docks for the day. There's a lot more to be done.
There's at least a couple hours of work in just getting everything on chargers, getting everything wiped down, getting everything downloaded, renamed, sorted through. I think, we don't have an official debrief. If there were particular things that worked or didn't work, we'll stop and be like, that was great. Or like, oh yeah, we need to fix that next time. Or, oh, here's a piece of equipment that broke while we were in the field. Yeah. Let's get that ordered now, so hopefully we can get it soon. But as we are sorting through all this data and making sure everything is saved and cataloged, we are discussing how things went throughout the day. So there's a lot of whale gossip and a lot of chatting about, how the day went, but not really an official, let's go through a checklist debrief type thing. Are there any superstitions you follow before, during, or after trips in the field?
Oh, this is a good question.
I don't think we have any, rituals, but we definitely have superstitions.
Yes. I always thank the boat after a good day on the water.
I say good boat.
Yeah, or I usually give it a pat as I get off.
Mm-hmm. I say because there's a whole procedure for getting the boat ready to go, right? We got to get all the equipment off of it. We got to wrap up the flag, obviously turn off the batteries, make sure all the lines are on, boat stuff. And if I don't look at the boat and say good boat, my brain doesn't lock in that I've done everything. So I have to look at all those different things on the dock and say, okay, good boat. Then I'm ready to walk to the car.
I don't know if this was superstitious or not. We only had one red PFD on the boat.
And I had to wear it.
They were all the other ones were gray, but you always had to have the red one. So that was a way we always started the day, was where's the red PFD?
And I don't know how that started other than...
It's because you have a red coat.
I had the red jacket, yeah.
And there's just a lot of superstitions around whales and around boats that I think kind of carry over, no bananas on the boat.
No bananas, yeah.
There's certain words you don't say when the whales are doing certain things because you don't want to jinx anything.
Yeah, even when we're not on the boat, if we're hearing reports that the whales are coming towards us, and this goes back to when we were shore-based whale watching together, you don't say the word turn around, right?
No.
You don't say those words.
No.
Say it. If whales are approaching your location or the location where you can work, you don't even say it. You don't even think about it. Whales always show up on bad weather days.
Yep.
That's a superstition, is that the arrival day will be the worst weather day, for sure.
Yes, and if the weather's nice, they won't be talking.
Yep. What was it? No wind.
No whales.
No, it was...
No wind, no waves, no vocals.
No wind, no waves, no vocals.
Yeah. That was kind of our mantra for this trip.
So yeah, I would say most of the superstitions about whales come down to whales are jerks. Is not.
I was going to say uncooperative, but
yeah.
But okay, you're taking it personally.
Yeah, it's whatever you want the whales to do, they're not going to do. And if you talk about the fact that they're not going to do it, they're even more likely.
If you wanted a system you could control,
you shouldn't have worked on whales.
Yes.
Yeah.